a surprising relationship or connection between slowness and speed in our Aikido practice. And we also talked a little bit about how that has some ramifications or some relevance to the challenges we're facing currently outside of the dojo. Today I'd like to follow up on that or continue with that theme in a slightly different way or slightly different form. I want to look at the role of relaxation in Aikido and also the role of extension and the way relaxation and extension are connected. Now in Aikido we put a lot of emphasis on relaxing, and one of the things that you discover when you first begin your Aikido training is just how not relaxed you are. This is a very typical experience when one first starts out in Aikido, that we carry a lot of tension and a lot of constriction in our bodies, even when we're not trying to do athletic things, or even when we're not trying to move a whole lot. We very often carry this tension and constriction in our upper body, especially around our shoulders and our neck, and also very often in our arms, especially when we're trying to do something in a very deliberate and willful manner. So part of experiencing Aikido is noticing that and seeing that, and doing Aikido, executing Aikido techniques requires us to relax. And again, part of that process is realizing just how not relaxed we are. But the form of relaxation that we take in Aikido, or the form that we try to cultivate, is, at least in the way that I think about it, really quite specific. That is, it's a relaxation that isn't about a lack of energy. It's not a floppy kind of relaxation. It's a relaxation that has a vibrancy or a vitality to it. And the word that I frequently use to describe that is extension. So if you think about our arms, if you think about our upper limbs, right, we want to try to relax them as much as possible when we're doing Aikido, but we don't want them to be lifeless, we don't want them to be floppy, we don't want them to be like wet noodles. Our arms, in addition to being relaxed, also have a sense of extension. And what I mean by extension is that, one, they're literally extending, they're reaching out as if to touch something beyond yourself. But two, they're vibrant. They have a sense of energy running through them. So our limbs aren't dead, right? They're alive and vibrant, but yet still quite relaxed. And part of this sense of relaxation and extension also comes with how we move our limbs. And we talked about this in our last online video a little bit. That is, we often move our hands and our arms like so in Aikido, especially along our center line. Right? And there are a couple of ways, or a number of different ways of describing this. One is tegatana. Tegatana means hand blade. It's this part of the hand, right? And so here we're extending the tegatana forward and up a little bit. Another way of describing this is kokyu. Now, kokyu is a very interesting word in Aikido because we use it a lot, and it has a very generalized meaning. In general, kokyu means breath power. And in a way, everything we do in Aikido uses breath power. I mean, the central term in Aikido, ki, can be translated as breath. So, kokyu really applies to almost everything that we do. However, we very frequently use that term to describe this gesture, with the hands open, fingers a little bit separated, relaxed palm, going out and up a little bit along our center line, right, kokyu. And we engage in this gesture quite a bit in Aikido. And one of the things to notice here is, one of the things that's important here is not just the shape of our arm and the shape of our hands, but the fact that we're relaxed and extended. Right? My arm is relaxed, there's no tension in my arm, but yet I'm reaching out a little bit beyond myself. Right? I'm on my center line, and my hand and arm have a sense of vitality or vibrancy to them. They have energy moving through them. So I'm nice and relaxed, but not dead. Right? So here. So in Aikido, when we talk about having relaxation and extension in our bodies, we're essentially saying that we're trying to relax our bodies, but we also want to have a sense of liveliness, a sense of being receptive to and able to engage in active, vital movement. So there is no dichotomy in Aikido between relaxation and movement. In fact, it's relaxation that helps us to both move, but also be engaged with movement quite a bit. So relaxation is not a kind of relaxation that is opposed to movement, right? In order to relax, I need to stop moving. In Aikido, our relaxation with extension is precisely what cultivates movement and cultivates a deeper connection to movement. So in today's solo exercises that we're going to go over, we're going to look at this gesture of kokyu, and we're going to work on our sense of relaxation and this sense of kokyu and how that relates to relaxation. Let's begin like we always do with deep breathing, and then we'll bow in.はい、お願いします。We'll begin with our warm-up exercises. Right. Shonuchi 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。 exercises, remember when we're rotating our arms, our hands are coming up our center line. So we're not just moving our arms in circles, we're relating to our center line. So hands come up our center line. Now hands are down our center line. Now we go individually with our hands and arms up and down our center line. And again, this is kokyu. This is a kokyu movement here. Now wrist exercises, Aikido. Aikido. Kotegaeshi. Sankyo. Next we're going to work on some sword exercises, though they're not really going to be sword exercises because we're not going to use the sword. If you have good enough weather, if you can get outside, that would be perfect to practice bokken exercises or bokken kata. But if you can only be indoors, there's some exercises that come straight out of bokken practice that are very relevant for our Aikido and are also very relevant for this theme that we're exploring, relaxation, extension, and kokyu movement. So let's take a look at that. Let's start off in right hamni. And if we raise up two hands, just like we are raising a bokken, two-handed shomanuchi, and down. The movement of our hands, the gesture that our hands and arms are taking, is that kokyu movement we were talking about. Right? This is kokyu. Right? Raised all the way above my forehead. Now two hands and arms are involved, as if I were raising a bokken. Right? So, here. And see it from the side. So you can do a sword cutting exercise without the sword, minus the sword, and it essentially becomes a kokyu exercise, where you're paying attention to your hands, the relaxation in your hands and the feeling of your palm. You're paying attention to raising your hand and your arm up your center line and having that feeling of relaxation but aliveness in your arms. That sense that we've been calling extension. Relaxation with extension. So let's do this together in right hamni. We'll start in right hamni and we'll do it slowly and methodically. Breathe deeply as you do this. Now let's switch to left hamni. Now notice for this exercise that my left hand is going to be on top. If we were actually holding a bokken, we wouldn't do that, right? We have to have that sort of crossed over feeling when we're holding a bokken, because we only hold the bokken with the right hand on top. But for this exercise, our left hand will stay on top. So here. Remember to breathe deeply. Feel your center. Feel your center line. Arms are relaxed but alive and extended. Now let's go back to right hamni, and we'll do this in a slightly faster fashion, and we'll count as we do it. So from right hamni, ready? Reach, ni, sa, shi, go, ro, shich, hach, ku, ju. Now back to left hamni. Reach, ni, sa, shi, go, roku, shich, hach, ku, ju. Now we can use this same movement, this same basic sword cut, and we'll add it to a Rimi Tenkan. We can do a Rimi Tenkan while doing basically two-handed Shomanuchi. And again, the emphasis is on coming up our center line, becoming more aware of our center line, keeping our arms, shoulders, and hands relaxed, but alive, extended. And now when we add a Rimi Tenkan, we're adding this sense of turning around our center and our center line. So now our hands are coming up our center line, but our body is turning around that center line. So we'll start off in right hamni. I'll begin by facing the direction you are, and we'll do a few slowly together. Rimi Tenkan with our cut. One cut per Rimi Tenkan. The first step we come up, second step we come down. Now I'll do a few in this direction from the side so you can see. Okay, let's do a few together, a little bit faster and counting. And again, think about our center and our center line, and how our hands and arms in a relaxed and extended fashion are coming up that center line, and the rest of our body is turning around that center line. And keep in mind some of the things we've talked about in our previous sessions about Tenkan and Rimi Tenkan. Trying to keep that radius of our turn tight around our center line, and that's allowing the rest of our body to relax. So we'll start in right hand. Reach, ni, san, shi, go, ro, shich, hach, ku, ju. Very good. Now let's do another set of 10. I'm going to face this way so you can get a different angle. And again, we'll go at about the same pace, and we'll count to 10. Reach, ni, san, shi, go, ro, shich, hach, ku, ju. Very good. Now we'll do another exercise that comes from sword exercises. A lot of times when we do our bokken practice, we do 4-direction and 8-direction cutting, right? So we can do this exercise without the bokken. And we're practicing the same things that we're practicing in the other exercise, right? Straight up our center line, relax here, here, feeling our center, breathing deep into our center, but feeling this kokyu movement from right up our center line with both hands. So let's start in right hamni. We'll go slowly. Cut here, and here. Four direction cut. So my first cut directly in front. Second cut directly behind. Third cut, my back leg becomes my new front leg here. And then directly behind for fourth cut. So we're going in a cross pattern, right? I'll do one set here. Right? First cut, second cut, third cut, fourth cut. So now I'll face your direction, and let's do a few together very slowly, and then we'll raise the pace a little bit. And again. Again. Okay, now we'll raise the pace a little bit, go a little faster, and we'll count as we go. And as we're going at this higher pace, we can think about and concentrate on becoming more aware of our center, and turning tightly around our center, similar to what we've talked about with Tenkan and Arimi Tenkan. So for example, after I do my first cut, my turn behind me, I want to make nice and tight around my center, and the rest of my body wants to stay relaxed. Like so. So I'm really feeling my center and cultivating a higher degree of awareness of my center by way of simply doing these turns. Okay? So I'll be in this direction, the same direction you're facing. We'll count together, and we'll go just a little bit faster than we have up till now. Right hamni. Reach, ni, san, shi. Again, right hamni. Reach, ni, san, shi. Again, right hamni. Reach, ni, san, shi. Now we'll continue with this practice, continue focusing on all the things that we've talked about so far, especially awareness of our center line, and then relaxation and extension that we're getting with our arms, hands, and shoulders. Now we'll add 4 more cuts, 4 more directions. We've gone in the 4-direction pattern. We'll add 4 more directions to this. So very slowly, this is what it looks like. We do our first 4. Reach, ni, san, shi. And then the 4 that we add go to the corners of each room. Go, roku, shichi, hachi. And then I just turn this direction for my first new cut. Ichi. So the pattern of our movement has gone from looking like a cross to looking like an asterisk. If you can visually imagine that, if that's helpful. So again, we'll go slowly, get the 8 directions down, and then we'll move at a slightly quicker pace. Those are our first 4 cuts. 5th cut happens here in this corner. 6th cut directly behind this corner. 7th cut, this corner. 8th cut, this corner. And turn here, ready for the new first cut. 5th cut. 6th cut. 7 and 8. Back to 1. Okay? So now we'll pick up the pace a little bit, go a little bit faster. We'll count in Japanese as we're going. Again, focus on your center, tight turn around your center, kokyu movement straight up your center line. Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi. And again. Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi. Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi. So now we'll sit in seiza, and we'll continue to work on relaxation, extension, and this kokyu movement. Now we've done ikkyo undo. Ikkyo undo is a kind of kokyu exercise. When we're doing this in ikkyo undo, that's the kokyu movement that we've been talking about. Now you can do this in seiza, and what we're doing is very similar to what we do when we practice kokyu dosa in class. So you can sort of imagine yourself practicing kokyu dosa without a partner, and this is what you'd be doing. Right? Or this would at least be the first part of what you're doing. Let's look at it from side view. So that's what we're going to practice now. You could describe it in many ways. You could describe it as kokyu dosa without a partner, or you could describe it as ikkyo undo in seiza. But what we're focused on is, again, this kokyu movement. And we're also focusing on moving from our center. So even when we're in seiza, we can move from our center. Right? So I'm not moving forward by bending my back. I'm not moving forward from my upper body. Right? The movement is originating from my center. And my back is relatively straight. My spine has this feeling of relaxation and extension. And of course, what I'm also going for in my hands and arms is that sense of relaxation and extension. So let's try this together. We'll first go slowly and deliberately. Remember to breathe. Breathe deeply. Move from your center. Feel the relaxation in your arms. Feel a sense of openness in your palms. Now let's continue to do this in the same deliberate, slow fashion, but we'll also do it slightly at an angle. From one side to the other, rather than straight down the center. I'm going to start on my left side. So I'm going to go here, back to center, then I'm going to go to the right, back to center, to the left, back to center, to the right. Again, I'm moving from my center, not originating the movement from my back, and not bending my spine. Okay, now just like with our other exercises, let's pick up the pace a little bit and count as we do this exercise. This time we'll stay on the center line and do 10, and then we'll go left to right, about 10 each there too. Okay, ready? Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, 9, 10. To the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Next, we're going to practice a breathing exercise, one that we frequently do at the end of class, but one that is relevant to the themes that we've been talking about in today's session. The theme of kokyu, the theme of relaxation, with extension. So we're going to start off in natural stance. So my feet are about shoulder width apart with just a little bit of bend to my knees. Again, I'm thinking about having a nice straight center line. That is, my spine is nice and relaxed but extended. Now as I breathe deeply, my hands come up my center line. Now I'm going to step back about 45 degrees. I'm going to go with my left leg first. Here. Now I'm going to turn my hips. I'm going to leave my hands and arms in front of me as I turn my hips. Here. And then drop my hands and arms as I exhale. And my hands and arms are nice and relaxed, but they have this feeling of extension, right? They're alive. They're not floppy. They're not dead. They're nice and alive, open, relaxed, and extended. And I come back to natural stance. Breathe in, up my center line. Step back, 45 degrees. I turn my hips, drop my arms, exhale. Again, feeling of relaxation with extension and openness in my hands and arms. Now, when my hands and arms are coming up my center line, this is not the same exact gesture we were doing before, the kokyu gesture. Right? It's not exactly the same thing. I'm not turning my tegatana out in front of me, right? My palms are facing me as I'm doing this. Right? It's very similar. I'm still extending up my center line right in front of me, and I'm still relaxed and extended, but I'm not doing this. Right? That's a different exercise. This would be ikkyo undo, right? So it's a slightly different exercise. I'm facing my palms, my palms are facing me as they're coming up my center line. I step back, turn, exhale. Now I'll do this in this direction, the direction that you're facing, and what you're more accustomed to seeing when we practice. So we'll do this slowly together. This is a breathing exercise, so we want to do it slowly and deliberately. And we'll do this a few more times, and this time let's think about our center line and how our body is turning around that as we're doing these turns and exhaling. It's very similar to what we were doing when we were doing Tenkan and Arimi Tenkan exercises, right? We're turning around that center line that runs from here all the way through here up through the crown of your head. So I'm trying to become aware of that. And as I'm doing this exercise, and I'm also trying to become aware of my spine. And my spine is something that I can relax and also feel a sense of extension to it. Right? So when I relax my spine, I'm not slouching. Right? My posture is actually getting a little better when I relax, open, and extend my spine. So that's the sort of thing that we're trying to cultivate, or one of the things we're trying to cultivate by doing this breathing exercise. And let's go now into Furitama breathing. finish with deep breathing. Left hand on top of right, thumbs touch. Our spine is nice and relaxed but extended. We can feel the top of our head, the crown of our head. We breathe deeply into our center.はい、ありがとうございました。